And you know what? It looks like we are live again for like the fourth night in a row. I haven't done this forever. Never go live 4 nights in a row. But I'm not here alone. I'm here with a good friend of mine, Regie from Regie Collects. Regie, how you doing tonight?
I am doing well. Thank you for having me on. And try doing 3 shows in one day, 3 live shows. That was me the other day.
I know. I watch your stuff, man. It's just there's so much Regie stuff. I don't know what I'm watching. It just blends in together. It's all the it's the never-ending Regie show.
And it's always a red shirt. You're like, is this the same video or a different video? I don't know.
The only way I know it's different is that you're not in your kitchen anymore. That's the only way I know it's a different video.
Don't make me snort. Don't make me snort on video, okay?
Okay, so anyway, this is night 4 of interview week. We started off with Jen Mint on Monday. We had Robbie from Pop Culture Philosophers on Tuesday. We had Comic Tom last night. We have Regie tonight, and tomorrow we have Brian from Simple Man's Comics. It's been a lot of fun. What this has meant to me is I do not have to edit a video all week, and that's really the reason that I'm doing this interview week, because I didn't want to have to edit any videos. I just want to be honest with people. And I guess catch up with some friends.
I don't blame you at all for that. I don't blame you.
Let's go ahead and jump in the chat really quick and just say hello to some of the people that came in here. Let's see. Dragon Ball Talk, hello. Rob Boswell, hello. Anna Chronicle Comics, hello. Discovery Bay, hello. I'm still trying to get used to the StreamYard thing. Rush, hello. Rich, hello. Matt, hello. There's a lot of people in here.
Comic book soldiers.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a little bit too. I want to actually, you know what? No. Okay, you brought it up. We're just going to jump right into there. Okay, because I actually forgot to write it down on my list. So you brought it up. I'm just going to talk about. So the Swole. I can't even pronounce it right. I can't even say it.
Soldiers.
The Soldiers. Now, how did that come about?
So because of fitness, we always talk about like your Swole, right? And there's like the brand that's Swole Monkey, right? And it's just Swole is just fitness fit, right? And so part of my thing is the culmination of the intersection of fitness and comics. So Soldier is part of that, but and part of the thought here is that just because we do comics doesn't mean that we aren't in shape and can't be in shape, right? Anybody that's lifted a long box or lifted many long boxes or short boxes knows it takes a certain amount of fitness, right? So that's what I mean by like Soldier. And hunting comics is also not an easy thing, right? It takes a certain amount of stamina to be out there hunting comics. So that whole intersection of fitness and hauling comics and hunting comics is where comic book Soldier essentially came from.
So it has nothing to do with your sword?
Absolutely not. No,
it doesn't. Because here's the thing. If it did, because I'm pretty sure I'm the reason that you showed that sword on your video. Yeah. And if it did, I want my cut.
No, it's because it's part of the other part of it is that I love military inspired stuff, right? And so soldier, that's kind of where it all comes from, right? I mean, it's a different take on the whole Gibbon Gang thing, which is another thing that the channel is essentially known for, right? So it's just having a little bit of fun is all.
And that's like a Sasquatch guy or something like that?
Absolutely not. It's Martin Blank, man. Come on. So, the whole thing with the Gibbon Gang was like an organic kind of thing that came out of some ad lib comments that I made in a video, and people kind of latched onto that. And I tried to ignore it when people started talking about the Gibbon this, the Gibbon that, and it just wouldn't go away. It wouldn't go away. So I just embraced it and was like, we came up with a name. We had like 4 or 5 different names we were playing around with, and Gibbon Gang actually stuck. And so it is this thing about Amazing Spider-Man issue number 110, Marvel's next superstar, the Gibbon, Martin Blank. And so we call ourselves the Gibbon Gang.
Very cool. Well, I mentioned to you earlier before we jumped on here that I listened to one of the podcasts that you did for another channel just recently. Mm-hmm. And there was something that you said that was so interesting. And you were talking about your fitness. Mm-hmm. And your main goal was to look good naked. That's That's what this man said. This is people can go find this out. That was his goal. He said, I want to look good naked.
Yeah.
Nothing else. That's what it was.
Hey.
So y'all, I don't know. Did you achieve that goal?
Oh, I achieved that goal, brother.
Is that goal still standing today?
So I'm a little more dad bod these days. I'm working on it. I'm working on bringing it back. But yeah, the thing about it is, I'm a big fan of goal setting, right? And goals don't have to be these really big things. They can be something simple and something silly if it motivates you, right? And my goal was honestly to look good naked, right? I mean, that's like, who doesn't want to look good naked, right? And back then I used to use a screen name called Best Dressed, right? And Best Dressed had nothing to do with actually being dressed. It was a way of saying your birthday suit is your suit. So best dressed, looking good naked is essentially what I was trying to get to. But yeah, that was my big thing, man. It motivated me enough to go from skinny fat to being essentially, somebody that was training to ultimately become a professional bodybuilder. And it worked for me,
So did the day come and you just sat in front of that mirror and said, yep, yep.
Goal achieved. What is it? Goal unlocked.
My goal is like, well, there it is.
Yeah.
That's my goal. It is what it is.
The thing, it's just, I remember what happened, man, is I was running. I was in not such a good relationship and I had a really stressful job and I was like running and I was coming back to my house and I remember in the glass door, I was able to see my abs for the first time ever. And I was like, I believed the things that
I've never seen my abs.
No, you got to run.
So.
I ran like 250.
One big thing in front of my gut.
I ran like 255 miles one summer. Right. And, but I believed all this stuff that people were telling me about it. It's genetics and this, that, and the other. And I believed that it was impossible to build a physique of a certain type because I looked at my relatives and none of them had that type of physique. And so I believed that. And what I then realized is that a lot of what people tell you isn't necessarily true. Right. And so that started the whole pursuit of me, starting to go to the gym and starting to work out and starting to lift and trying to see what I could actually turn my body into. And that's, it was a fun pursuit, man. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the run,
Well, as long as you met your goal,
yeah.
As long as you sat there and accomplished that and checked that off your bucket list. And here we are years later, it's still there. You're still happy. You look in the mirror like, it's not bad.
It's not too bad. I can work with it.
Bad. It could be a lot worse. I could be Bueller.
It could.
At least, this is Reggie's goal. He looks in the mirror. At least I'm not Bueller.
It still motivates me, brother. That's all I'm saying. There are some hilarious comments in here. I'm telling you. I'm reading some of the comments. These people are funny.
Let's see. What am I missing out? Like I said, I'm not. You're so much better at the comments. I watch you go through them.
Oh, brother, I'm on it. Connie's over there talking about comic hunting is exercise. Yes, indeed, it is. I'm telling you, I have been in comic shops going through long boxes, sweating. It is a workout. If you are hunting the right way, it is a workout, and you are a comic soldier.
I hate when the boxes are on the ground. If they're on the ground, I just leave. It's like I can't get up. If I get down, I'm gonna need help getting back up. It's like I sit there and I make it through about half a long box, and I'm like out of breath. Yeah. And I'm like, I need a break.
I've been known to move stuff around in shops. I will move boxes so that they are not on the ground, and I will rotate your inventory for you in your shop or bookstore, whatever it is, because it's serious. Bueller wins the pose down. No way. No way.
Come on, man.
I told people you were going to be in here in your leather vest, shirtless, just a leather vest on. You
don't know how many times I've come close to doing that just for the hell of it. Just one shot, just one time.
Fun. You have to have fun, man. This stuff is too much work not to have fun. You
remember one time we talked about possibly like doing a calendar?
We did.
This is a while ago. Just kind of a random thought.
Yeah.
If we actually went through with that, I was literally just gonna go like full on naked. the one guy you don't want to see naked. I'm
with just the back. with just the backing board, you know?
Yeah, or just like a short box, not a long box in front of me, just a short box.
We did talk about that. That was a while ago. You know, I've talked about this recently on the channel, and I've spoken about how there are many of us that we actually talk to one another like behind the scenes, you know, and it's like I go back and forth with you probably every couple of weeks or something like that. Yeah. And then Tom less frequently, but there are many of us that like talk to one another behind the scenes. And I think that that's one of the cool things about this is that we're not always on camera with one another, but we do socialize off camera. And we talk about a lot of stuff that's actually happening out there, which I think is really cool.
We do, and that's kind of nice. And the one thing about, I mean, we've been friends from almost the very beginning when both of us pretty much started the comic book end of our YouTube. Yep. We hit it off really quickly, and you know, we have some stories from that doesn't have anything to do with comics. And I'm just gonna bring this one up because I'm a proud father, and I want to share this one. And Reggie's part of this, but my daughter Paige. She was actually last year. She was in the fitness and she was training to do fitness competitions and stuff. Yep. And I told my daughter, I said, "Hey, you know, I have this friend, Reggie. He looks good naked." I didn't say that, but that's the goal.
That would be a weird conversation.
Yeah, exactly. But you know, Reggie kind of told me some stuff, and everything, and my daughter really put the effort in, and she did a great job. She went to the competition, and I went to the competition, and I'm sitting there alone. Now, here's the thing, and I didn't tell you this. I'm the only one there from my side of the family. It's my ex-wife and all her new family and all them, and I'm sitting by myself. Okay, and then the only thing on my phone is literally I'm texting Reggie. that's my contact. That's my safe zone right there. Is I'm sitting there and I'm texting Reggie. I'm like, "Reggie, she's on stage." And he's like, "Send me a picture." And I send him a picture. I go, "Reggie, she's going out here. Is this good? Is this good?" And Reggie's all, "Is she in the middle? Is she doing this? Are they moving her?" I'm like, "No, she's staying in the middle." And he's like, "She's gonna win. She's gonna win." I'm like, "Are you serious, man?" Because this is her first time. She's never done it before.
Yeah.
I don't know how these competitions work at all. I'm totally new to this. I look over at my ex-wife. She looks miserable like she did 20 years ago. I can't help it, man. I'm having a good time. I always have a lot of fun with Reggie.
You have to have fun, man.
So anyway, I'm sitting there, and Reggie tells me, as long as she's in towards the middle, she's gonna win. She's gonna place. And so I'm sitting there as the time goes on. It's a very long competition. I didn't realize how long these things are. It was an all-day freaking thing, man.
Yes.
There were so many different categories.
Yep.
And then it gets down, and they take her group, and she's in the top 5 of her group. And I'm like, wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, man.
And they take that group, and they merge them together with another group. And then she's in the top 5 of the 3 groups. And then she's in the top 4. And then she's in the top 3. And then she's the final 2. And I'm looking down at my phone, and I look there, and it says she's winning. And sure enough, they announced my daughter the winner, first time ever.
That's crazy.
I jump out, tears down my face. Okay, because this is such a great event for me. My daughter has always been in team sports, and she's always kind of fell short. In this is something she did herself.
Yeah,
and she came out a winner, and it was such a great thing. And I'm sitting there, and I look at my phone. My buddy Reggie's cheering me on. My daughter's on stage, won the event.
Yeah.
It was an awesome time, man. I just want to say thank you for your advice and everything that you helped out on that. But
she crushed it, brother. She worked. Anybody that steps on a stage for bodybuilding is someone that has worked, right? Because what we have to endure and what we put ourselves through to step on that stage it's pretty incredible. And if she never does it again, the lessons that she learned about what she's capable of doing will never leave her, And if she decides to do it again, that's cool too, but she can never do it again. And she will be changed as a result of that. And I did my first competition, man. It was the Peckham Simmons Classic, and 4 guys in my class. Got 4th place. I got 4th place, and I was hooked. I got 4th place, and I was hooked. And I am the only guy out of that entire group of 4 that actually became a professional bodybuilder.
Yeah.
I loved it. And I kept pushing and trying to change my physique, and it worked out, you know. But your daughter earned her place on that stage through a lot of hard work, you know, and strength of will and strength of character. So it's cool to be a part of, you know.
We went out to celebrate out the dinner that night, and she got sick that night. She actually ended up throwing up like twice because her diet, you know, as you know, is it's hardly anything up until the event.
Yeah.
And when she was done, she's like, I want to go out, and she got a nacho and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was sick the next day.
I mean, I've seen people blow up 30 pounds in a day.
Wow.
They will blow up 30 pounds. And there's a lot of fluid that actually pulls in, but it can be scary for some people if they don't eat in moderation. And that's really hard when you've, you know, not eaten, you know, and weeks upon weeks upon weeks. Cause I mean, I dieted one time, I dieted 31 weeks for a show. And that's a long time to be on a diet, my man, you know?
I dieted for like 22 hours.
How did that work? How did you feel? It
was the worst, man. It was the worst 22 hours of my life. It's like, I gotta go to Taco Bell. Luckily, they're open 24 hours a day, so I'm good. I got 2 more hours to go.
I may try to do it again at some point, man. We'll see. You know, it is a sport that requires a lot of you. You know, and yeah. Congrats to your daughter, though.
I'm going to kind of go out of order for my questions I'm going to ask, but since we're talking about it right now, for a long time, your channel was Regie Simmons IFBB Pro.
Yep.
And now you've changed it to Regie Collects. Was it hard for you to drop the IFBB Pro?
No, not really. Right. Because I think for me, it was more about trying to convey to people what channel they were actually on and the purpose of it. Right. You know, I spend a lot of time, you know, thinking about like branding and rebranding and positioning and confusion of market and how to clean things up, you know, and to move away from that, it made sense to do it. You know, when I first started the channel, I had no clue what was going to happen. You know, I was just having fun, man, recording a couple of videos, mispronouncing Galactus's name and all that kind of stuff. And then before you know it, it was like, okay, 10 people watching, 20 people watched, then 50 people, then it grows up and you're like, okay, well, people are watching. Maybe I need to evolve and change and do a little bit better. And the name change kind of reflects that.
Yeah. Well, I want you to know, I don't know, I'm pretty sure you saw the thumbnail, and I'm almost 100% sure it's my first thumbnail with a dude with the shirt off on my video, as far as like an actual dude. I mean, I'm sure there's been like comic book characters and whatnot, drawings, but as far as an actual dude with the shirt off, you're the first one on my thumbnail. So congratulations.
I would go out to people. I would go out to dinner with people, and they'd say, "Oh, you're Regie." And I would always get that moment in my stomach, and I'm like, oh, what they see. Because I had people that knew that I competed, and people would search me or Google me, or I would have a friend that would show a friend photos of me before I meet them. And then you meet them and you're like, oh, you're Regie. And it's like, well, have you seen me with my shirt off? It was always like this awkward moment for me, you know, but I've gotten used to it, I think, over all the many years, you know? Yeah.
I've run into people, you know, at places and, hey, you're Bueller, right? I'm like, yeah. And they go, I really like that Regie guy. Like, Jesus, what? I mean, it's like straight, aren't you Bueller? Yeah, I really like Regie. Okay. That's why you want to introduce yourself to me?
You are hilarious. You are hilarious. Do you get recognized a lot? Do people recognize you when you're out in public?
Only,
and by public, I mean like comic shops and cons.
It's comic shops. It's comic shops and it's comic cons. I mean, I would say pretty much every time I go to a comic shop and I'm there for, you know, when there's other people there, I tend to get recognized.
Yep.
Comic cons, if I go there, a lot.
Yeah.
I actually have the last few comic cons I've gone, I've brought a blank sketch cover with me. And anytime someone comes up to me and recognizes me and says hello, I have them autograph it for me.
That's good.
And I think I might have stole a little bit from your idea when you were sending around that book, you know, like a year ago or something like that. Maybe a little bit, just a little bit.
It's all good, brother. It's all good. No, that's actually a really good idea. But keep going. I'm listening to you.
Yeah, but you know, and I think the last one I went to, there was over 60 names. on there, and it was a 2-day con, and it's awesome. You know, it's for one, it's a little I don't want to say uncomfortable. It's just weird, you know, for me, because I never thought that people would say, "Hey, I'm a fan of yours."
Yeah.
Okay, you know, there's at least one, I guess. So that's cool, but yeah, I like doing that, and I've never been recognized anywhere else, you know, on like a bank or a grocery store or nothing like that. You know, it's a limited celebrity.
Yeah. In
a comic shop or a Comic-Con, and that's it.
It definitely a humbling thing, I think, as well. You know.
Yeah. So let me ask you a couple things. You know, we've both been quarantined for a while. I don't know. Did your state just extend the quarantine today?
You know, I don't know. We have taken a little bit of a departure from watching the news as closely as we normally do, you know, so I honestly don't know.
You don't know? Okay. I think they did. I don't know for sure. I think they may extended it a couple of weeks. I don't know. But what have you missed the most? I mean, you can work from home, correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what have you missed the most that you could do before?
Yeah, man, there's a lot of things I miss. Well, I'm an introvert, right? So, and people may find that hard to believe, but I'm actually an introvert. So I actually enjoy being at home, right? But part of what I miss is my drive time. I miss the drive time to and from work, because that was space for me to just think, right? And just sit and be with my thoughts. Because now here at the house, I'm here all the time, and it's a little hard to like be with your thoughts, because if you're here and you're not working or doing a YouTube video, then you're trying to do something with your family. And when you're not doing that things, then you're in here, right? So that drive time of maybe, I'm just making this up, maybe an hour or so total was time when I worked through problems. It was time when I brainstormed ideas for videos, things like that. And so without that drive time, it's a little tougher for me to do some of the things that I really like to do, which is to come up with unique and innovative and different ideas and problem solve and stuff like that. So that's one thing that I definitely miss. I do miss taking my kids out to parks and stuff like that, because they really enjoy that kind of stuff. So we spent a healthy amount of time like at parks and letting them run around and play. And so that's been a little tough as well. But besides that, new comic book day, right? Who doesn't miss going to the comic book store and hanging out in the shop? So those are like 3 things off the top of my head that I could think of. You
know, I got to agree with you on drive time. I mean, my work at the time was about 45 minutes away each direction. So that 45 minutes, it was just unwind, relax, my private time. I had my go-to CD. A CD is a music thing. Those are, it was James Taylor's greatest hits, and just calming, relaxing music. You know, I was
picturing you more like a Kenny G guy. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I love Kenny and Kenny Loggin.
Yeah.
Kenny Rogers and Kenny versus Penny. Anyone Kenny, it doesn't matter. Kenny from South Park. Is there a Kenny from South Park?
I don't know, brother. But that drive time, you know, that decompression time, the brainstorming time to self, those are things that I think are kind of sort of in short supply for a lot of people. You know, It was my transitional time from work to home. So when I got home, I was a different person, you know, because of the stress of work. I would let that go when I drove home. When I walked up the stairs to come into the house, it was like, it's dad time, you know?
Yep.
Oh, there's the other Reggie Simmons. How you doing? That's 2G. This is 1G.
Yeah, he's double G. Double G Reggie Simmons. I said that years ago, man. Double G Reggie Simmons. Right there. So what are you looking forward to doing the most? Once everything's lifted and stuff, and you can leave your house without, you know, that stuff not being available to you, what do you want to do the first thing? What are you looking forward to doing the most?
Maybe taking a vacation, brother. Seriously, just to take a vacation and be in some different 4 walls besides these 4 walls, you know. You know, I think it'll probably be simple things, man. You know, you know, being able to go to my office and stuff and do work and have the full setup at the job to be productive and all that kind of stuff will be nice. Definitely hit a comic shop or 2, like nobody's business, right? I don't even know if I'll buy. I just want to go and stand in there and socialize and see people and talk, you know, because I enjoy that when I go to a comic shop. And then maybe take the family out to dinner, man. Just take them out to dinner. We don't do a whole lot of dinners outside the house, but it might be nice for us to just go out and just be out, and just maybe spend a whole day just away from the house, just doing things, whatever we want to do, I mean, my kids are still to the point of, they're like, Dad, can we go to the park? We took them out of the house the other day and we go for little walks and things like that. And there's certain ways we can't walk because they can see a park. So we won't go that way, then we took them for a car ride the other day and it was like, Dad, can we go to the park? Dad, can we go to the park? And it's tough. It's tough because you can't take them, so it'll be nice to be able to allow them to do the things that they want to do, like go to the park and go to the indoor playground and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm really missing my coffee shop that I normally go to.
Yeah.
I mean, that's literally a 2 or 3 hour thing every few days. I would go and just hang out. And the coffee shop that I've always mentioned, the Mocha Express, on my videos, that is my cheers. I can go there and literally know everybody who walks in the door and say hi and catch up on their day and how you've been doing and stuff like that. Because it's the neighborhood coffee shop. It's been there for over 20 years.
Oh, wow.
And everyone in this area goes there. We all know each other. And it's just great. And just the fact that that's been gone now for 4 to 5 weeks. Man, I miss that. I miss that more so than going to the comic book store.
Yeah.
And I didn't think I'd say that, but I did.
I get that. Yeah, because, I definitely get that.
So you mentioned comic book shops that you'd like to go to. So the next question is, with what is happening or what has happened, do you think this is going to have a lasting effect, in the hobby that we love, comic books? I mean, do you think there's going to be changes? Obviously, there's distributions and there's other companies stepping up now that are possibly going to be distributing comic books. There's the possibility of comic shops not opening because they're not making any money right now. It's a different thing that we've never experienced.
Right.
It's different from the crash in the 90s. There's never been a time when there wasn't books coming out.
Yep.
What kind of lasting effect do you see this having?
No one knows. So one of the things that we are doing at work is we are trying to better understand how the world, if you will, is going to be affected by what's happening right now. And so we are doing things like looking at different analogs to draw, inspiration, if you will, from. So we're looking at like 9/11. Right? Because 9/11 had a dramatic impact on travel and a dramatic impact on how people chose to interact with people, right? We're looking at the AIDS epidemic. We're looking at H1N1. We're looking at SARS. We're looking at Ebola. We're looking at all of these different analogs to be able to try to figure out from them, are there some similarities? And can we make some assumptions about what the future might look like? The truth is, no one knows what the future is going to look like, right? We can assume that it will be different, but the question is, how different? How different would it be? I don't know. I really don't. And so we can speculate as to what the future holds, but we can all be right and we can all be wrong, just like regular speculation with comics about what's going to be worth something and what's not. It is all depending upon the data that comes in and your interpretation of that data, what you think the future will be. But I can tell you comics will be different because the world will be different. How different? Flip a coin. Flip a coin, So do you like the fact that DC is looking at different options to get their books out? I do not.
You do not?
I do not.
I know you're not a huge DC guy, so it really didn't affect you too much.
Yes. No, it's not really. Do what you do. No. But go ahead and ask your question. I'm sorry I cut you off.
But the reason I say that, and over many years, Diamond has kind of been kicked around, and people have kind of badmouthed Diamond, and they wish there was another competitor in the field. Okay, and they're the monopoly, whatever you want to call it, if it is that, whatever. Now we're at a spot to where an unfortunate, disease has happened and forced some people's hands. This is not a natural decision that they had to make. They had to do this because of something, disastrous. But yet they're doing this right now, DC, and they're looking to get a different distributor, and yet they're getting a lot of pushback.
Yeah.
Now, a couple months ago, before all this happened, if we had word that, hey, there's another possibility of another distributor, I think that the argument wouldn't be there, because that's what we've been wanting for a long time.
Yeah.
I find it very surprising that they do get so much pushback right now.
Yeah. And I think that there's reasons for it. one of the first questions is, why are they doing it? What are they actually trying to accomplish, and what will they actually accomplish by distributing 7 books? Because that's what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Distributing 7 books. No comic shop can survive on 7 books. DC represents 30% of the overall comic book market. A comic shop cannot survive on 30%. So I don't know what they're trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
Right?
It sounds like they got 3 weeks that are going to come out before Diamond even gets the thing up and running.
Maybe.
So by the 4th week, the possibility of Diamond might have something up as well to go with them. And like you said, it's you look at the lineup of books that are coming out next week for DC. It's nothing.
And that's what I'm saying to you. So I don't understand what they are actually going to accomplish by doing what they're doing. Right. Because there are so many thoughts that I have about this. Right. So the 2 companies, the people are making us a lot of assumptions that making Diamond have competition is going to improve quality, because that's one of the big concerns that people have with Diamond, at least I think, is quality. I don't know how introducing 2 new distributors, 2 new companies, 2 new unknowns result in Diamond having higher quality. I don't understand that. Right. What it does is it fragments the market even more and puts us in a position of where we were before, with 12 different distributors doing different things, where the data was so convoluted, we didn't even know how many comics were actually being sold. Right. So I don't know if this is going to solve it. People are saying Diamond needs competition. This is going to lead to comics, to books being available at 7-Eleven and bookstores. No, it's not. No, it's not, because they're distributing these books to LCSs. They're not distributing them broadly to make comics available to kids, for example. And so we are putting a lot of trust in an unknown because it represents change, but that change may not be a good thing. That's my struggle, is the change may not result in any type of improvement. It may result in more detrimental things. My other thing is, we're basically asking retailers, that being local comic shops, to buy comics from other retailers.
Yeah.
Because the 2 distributors are owned by retailers. They're not true distribution hubs or distribution companies. So you're forcing me, DC, to buy comics to sell from essentially my competition. And that's supposed to be a good thing? Like, I don't understand that. I don't understand it. I don't understand what DC is actually trying to accomplish here. Now, if we knew that these new companies were going to introduce new technologies and new methods for handling books that resulted in less damage for local comic shops, if we knew that they were going to do some things that were beneficial, right, improving the availability of comics to more kids, or whatever it is, 7-Eleven or whatever it is, then I could get on board. I'm having a hard time connecting the dots between what DC is doing to an actual benefit to the comic book community in the comic book market. That's my challenge.
Yeah, it doesn't seem, it is bizarre. And like you said, the way they're doing it, the way they're going about it, basically using online retailers, the big ones, to distribute their books, it doesn't make any sense. And it's a very similar, I don't know if you heard about the Comic Hub thing.
Yes.
That was,
we talked a lot about that on my channel.
Yeah. When that came out, and I've said this before, I actually met the guy who does the Comic Hub. He was at the Comics Pro event that I was invited to go to here in Portland. Yeah. And he's a shop owner from New Zealand. And that's this guy's idea. And he actually did a presentation. He showed everyone how it worked and everything. He basically said it was the Netflix of comic books. And there was the article in Bleeding Cool about it. It's Comic Hub saves the comic book industry. That's literally what it said. Yep. And I'm like, I read it, I go, that's not what that is.
Yeah.
That is not what that is. I know what that is. I sat and watched an 1.5-hour presentation from that guy. I know exactly what that is. And then I read a little bit more about what they wanted to do. And basically what they wanted to do is you buy the books from them. And then you'll get access to a digital copy, and then they will send the physical copy to your LCS. and you can pick it up there.
Yeah.
And they will split the money with your LCS.
Yes.
That was the basic premise.
Yes.
What stops them from at one point saying, you know what? Why do I need to split the money with the LCS when I can just ship the comic straight to the guy?
Yep.
And I already have all their information.
Yep.
What that does, that kills comic book shops.
Exactly.
And when I saw that, and when I saw the article on Bleeding Cool, I was like, they should not title it like that, because it is the opposite of what that is. And obviously, it sounds like you're in the same boat.
But I had a lot of people that were like, this is a really good idea. No, it's not. It is not a really good idea. You know, there were a lot of people that were like, this is a really good idea. We actually need to do this because we need new comics. Yeah. Okay. But do you not like your local comic shop because they potentially won't be there in the end if we go this route, you know? And I think the guy right now has fewer than 100 local comic shops that have actually signed up for the service. I think there's fewer than 100. And he was saying that he would waive all of the various fees out there for people to actually sign up if they decided to go this route. But again, on the surface of it, it seems these ideas seem good. But when you start to dig into them and start to ask a couple of questions, then that's when you're like, well, this doesn't quite make good sense, you know? But yeah.
I kind of saw that when they announced it, because this was pretty early on when everything started happening. And it was almost like now's the time to kind of strike some fear into people. And we're going to put this out there. Now's a good time to present this. And because people are fearful of what's going to happen, people might latch onto this. Yeah. And I'm so happy they didn't. It was such a I saw it. I was like, this would be the end of comic shops.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be the end of comic books, the physical media. It would literally just kill your comic shop. But there's no way a board of directors or somebody says, you know what, we need to go share half our profits with this other company.
Yeah. No one
we're
does
doing
that.
all the work. There's no board of directors that does that.
No one
does.
They
want all the profit when they have access to the clientele.
Yeah. And I mean, to some degree or another, that's essentially what the new solution is as well, right? These are brand new companies that are distributing comics, and basically comic shops are being encouraged to turn over their clientele to a competitor. It's the exact same situation. Yeah. It is the same situation.
Man, I'm glad we agree on stuff.
No, because I think part of it is like I didn't sit through that presentation, but it's a lot of when you spend a little bit of time actually reading enough articles and reading some of this stuff and going to the websites and like asking yourself a couple of questions, you start to wonder, like, and then you listen and you read the backlash from local comic shops. There are people that have literally been doing this 30 and 40 years. And yes, they have a vested interest, but they also have an expertise. And if they're saying this is a bad idea, you have to stop and ask yourself, why are they saying that that's a bad idea? Right. And is it a little self-serving? Yes, but there may also be a nugget of truth there. So the thing is, you have to take the time to understand why they're pushing back, because sometimes there's actually a legitimate reason. And if you look at with that hub you were just talking about, the outcry from the comic book community, it was impressive how quickly people responded. And to some degree or another, there is a similar type of response to what Diamond is proposing. But maybe a little more favorable, maybe a little more favorable. But even still, with those that spoke favorably, they still questioned the true benefit to what was actually being done. Yeah.
And there was a lot of falseness behind it as far as like who was on board. They had mentioned like some publishers were on board when really there wasn't any publishers on board.
Which you're talking about the hub? Or
the comic
thing. Oh yeah.
Yeah. And, and they're like, we are? And literally that was like the response.
Yeah. I mean, but even the article on Newsarama about the DC thing, the article actually said that there were, 2,000 comic shops that were basically open and on board with this plan for buying these books. And the truth is, when you go to the DC website, their website shows you retailers that are open, not retailers that are prepared to buy these books that are going to be distributed via Luna, right? So it's when you dig into some of the details, you start to see some of these cracks, and you have to ask yourself, what's going on with this stuff?
This is a nice, I love my paper comics, but also I love my digital PS4 games. Now, I wanted to ask you something about this. Did you
Yeah.
think that possibly that this might be the catalyst to go towards that digital route, for Marvel or DC to say, you know what? Why don't we just cut out Diamond altogether? Why don't we just cut out and this sounds horrible. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
If you go digital, you cut out money that goes to Diamond, money that goes to the comic shop, and the money goes straight to you. You pay your creators, you pay the software engineers and stuff like that, and that's it. They go out there and they're live, and you sell them on your website or whatever. Were you a little worried that maybe this might be the catalyst towards that?
The question becomes, can Marvel actually make more money by going digital than they can go in print? And I don't know that they can, right? Because you remember, like a comic book is $4, let's just say, right? There is a certain percent that goes to Marvel or DC. There's a certain amount that goes to Diamond. There's a certain amount that goes to the local comic shop, right? So it gets divvied up. It's not like Marvel can sell that digital copy for the exact same amount as the print copy. So they can't. Yeah. So can they make more money? I don't know, right? But the other part of it is, does Marvel make additional money off of the toys and other collectibles that get shipped to local comic shops that can't be digitized? I don't know the answer to that, right? But it's not like Marvel can say, okay, $4 comic book in print, I'm gonna charge $3 for that book and only make it available digitally. I don't know if they can do that.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's an instant they can make additional money. And let's be honest, there are many of us that do read digital and print. And I am a print guy. I love collecting comics. But I also read digitally because of the convenience of it and the fact that I don't have to worry about it getting ruined. But I don't know if there will ever be a point where a Marvel and a DC completely moves away from print. I don't know if they would ever go that route. I mean, if you look at the data, I think it's only $100 million out of $1 billion that is actually digital. Yeah. Right. 100 million out of 1 billion that is actually digital. So I don't know if they're going to ever go that route because they still make a lot of money. This is still $1 billion industry prior to this pandemic. And the market, the comic book market as a whole continues to grow. The other part that I will mention is that the vast majority of the money, if you will, actually comes from graphic novels and trade paperbacks. That's where a lot of the money actually comes from, where Marvel and DC can actually make a lot more money because they're distributing a book versus a floppy. And a lot of those books don't actually go to local comic shops. They actually go the book distribution route. So your Targets and your Walmarts and that kind of stuff. I think that's like a half a billion. I think it's like $500 million, or I can't remember the exact number. It's been a while since I looked at the numbers on Comic-Con, but it's a nice chunk of money that actually goes to the graphic novels and not necessarily to the floppies.
Yeah. It's very interesting because, I think one of the articles I read that I think Jim Lee said that digital comics hasn't increased in over 3 years.
Yep.
As far as the percentage of the sales.
Yep.
In comparison to every other media, as far as movies or games or music or whatnot, it's the totally opposite. It's all gone. It's all digital sales for the most part. I mean, there's a few movies out there, but I'm pretty sure, games are going away. GameStop's probably going away. Music's pretty much all digital right now. But the good old paper comic book is still kicking, man. So it's kind of cool when you think about it.
80 plus years, man. There's a lot of people that believe that comic book fans are fair weather people, right? That because we can't get new comics that we are suddenly going to stop reading comics. And I just don't believe that. Yeah. I don't believe it. I'm surrounded in this room by like over 7,000 comics. I'm not suddenly going to stop reading comics because new comics aren't available. You know what I am doing? I'm spending my time reading all the old stuff that I never read. That is what I'm doing. I'm reading all the books in this room that I haven't read in years and the stuff that I've always wanted to read but haven't gotten around to. I'm still going to be buying comics when comics return. And I have a feeling that I don't even know how many people are in this chat room, are probably going to be doing the same thing, and if they have jobs or if they're not working, when their jobs return, my hope is that they too will still be buying comics when this is all said and done.
Absolutely. I know my comics are actually still sitting at my comic shop from the week before they went because my shop closed the doors before I could go get them. So that one week that they last came out, they're still sitting in my box.
Bueller, you knew you could have gone in that back door and gotten those comics. That's what I did.
I got other connections.
I came in the back door, brother. Went and got all my books. I actually released a video today of one of my very last hauls from a local comic shop. Actually, two, I think, local comic shops.
That's awesome, man. No, I haven't even talked. Here's the thing: my LCS is owned by Dark Horse Comics.
Yeah, yeah.
And they pretty much just shut the door for. They literally own the whole town where they're at. Like it's called Milwaukee, and not the big Milwaukee. It's a very small Milwaukee, but they literally own like out of the 10 buildings there, they own 9 of them. And they literally just shut down. Like they shut down like 2 weeks before everything was required to shut down.
Oh,
and
wow.
we haven't heard from them since.
Wow, that's a different ball game. That's a different ball game right there.
Let's kind of move on a little bit. I want to ask you this: you've had different things in your life. You've sit there and you've done the bodybuilding, and it was a major part of your life. And now that's not such a big thing. And now you're doing comics and stuff like that, and that is a big part of your life. Not to say that the comic thing ends, okay? But let's just say down the road the comic part ends. Which one have you found more fulfilling?
That's actually a really good question. That is honestly hard to say. You know, I could probably say that I've had more success with comics than I did with bodybuilding. Right. As a bodybuilder, I have been in magazines all around the world. I've been on the cover of magazines. I've won pro shows. I've won amateur shows. I have a 4-foot broad sword behind me. I've been recognized in public, at bodybuilding type events, right, because of some of the stuff that I've been able to do online. But to some degree or another, those successes kind of pale in comparison to what I've been able to do with my channel. Right. There are 7,200 soldiers out there, man, that have welcomed me into their life, and in some cases on a daily basis, So when I read the emails and the letters and the direct messages that people send me, and they talk about how the videos I've created have impacted them and improved their lives and helped them in this situation and that situation, that's tough to compare to, right? It's tough for bodybuilding to hold a candle to that, the stories that people share, and you know this, the stories that people share are really compelling and really motivating. And so I would say the one that is most fulfilling is comics. It really is.
Very cool. That's awesome, man. That's I was always been kind of curious about that because I know how dedicated you were to your fitness and stuff, and you still are. Not to the point where before when you were on magazines and all this stuff, which you pointed out a couple times, but that's okay.
Do you want to see a photo? I'm teasing.
Another photo?
I'm teasing.
Come on, no.
But man,
don't you send out photos like here's a photo?
Not anymore. Not unless someone asks. But no, the thing is, man, is I've had people share some really fantastic stories with me about how the videos have helped them through a really tough time. And when people are going through really stressful events and they turn to you, right? They turn to the content that you create as a source of inspiration or to find center or to find some escapism. That's motivating. It really is motivating to want to hear and read these stories.
Well, let me ask you about that right there, because I know, and we're probably on the same boat. When we both started this channel, what you just described, I never thought that's might happen. I thought I'd get on, show some comics, people would enjoy looking at the covers, and stuff like that. But then something switched.
Yep.
And, we both recently talked to the same gentleman, and he probably shared the same thing with you as me. And he's like, I've had a rough time. I've watched your videos for quite a while. They've helped me out, not just comic books, but they've helped me out emotionally or just get through a rough day.
Yep.
How do you, that's a different effect. When I receive the same emails, and it sets me back. I might sit there and I look and I go, wow.
Yeah.
I've read them to my mother. I took them to my mom's house and said, read this, Mom. Or showed my sister. And it's like, I never thought, and I've embraced it, don't get me wrong, but I never thought I would be in that place. Is it kind of bizarre to be there?
It is quite humbling.
Yeah.
It is quite humbling. I have a red folder that I keep in a box right here. And in that red folder, I keep all the letters that people send me, whether it be on a backing board or an index card or whatever it is, I save it all. Because, and I've read some of the letters to my wife, and I've handed her to my phone and like, read this direct message. Do you know the impact that I have on people? I'm kind of like, I'm a big deal. She doesn't care. I'm like, I'm a big deal. It never occurred to me that this would happen. Yeah. It never occurred to me. And that's why it's so humbling. I mean, I've honestly, so my grandmother passed away several months ago, and a subscriber of my channel who is also a pastor happened to be texting me at the time that I found out that my grandmother wasn't going to make it. And he immediately started to pray for me and to say very positive things to me about my relationship with her that actually helped me, where it's like I'm people have taken solace in things that I've put out there to help them. But in this situation, it was a subscriber that was actually helping me. And I listened to him preach on Sundays, and it's just, I never imagined that any of this would happen. And it's very humbling. It's very rewarding, and it's also extremely motivating for me, because no matter how many covers you're on or how many, trophies you win or whatever it is, that's not the same as helping somebody.
Yeah.
This is helping people. And yeah, we're talking about comics, but are we really just talking about comics?
It's awesome. I mean, I got to say what it is. I mean, I've made so many friends, you included, because of this. And I said this before. Somebody asked me about my collection. What do I want to add, and then what's in it and stuff like that. And I literally said, you know what? If I don't add another book, I'm fine. I'm actually content with what I have. And actually, I don't mind getting rid of my stuff, because right now I just enjoy talking about the comics. It's not what I got or what I found. It's literally having the opportunity to share my joy of comics with other people, to where when we collected when we were young, we didn't do that.
Nope.
And now we get to, and it's not what I bought. It's literally, I get to sit there and talk about comics to hundreds, thousands of people.
Every week.
And it's awesome, man.
All around the world, all walks of life, all hours of the day. I mean, I remember going to comic shops and to cons and being there and never talking to anybody, never talking to a single person.
Yeah.
Right. Because I was an introverted guy, right? An introverted kid. And so now it's a different story. I literally have buddies everywhere, and they all share the exact same passion that I have. And I think that that's one of the things that people say to me is when they watch the videos, they feel my energy, because I'm just having a good time. I'm having a good time talking about comics, because I never did it before. And now it's like, now I can do it. And it's actually okay to do it. And I do it publicly. I still don't tell everybody I have a YouTube channel that's in my personal life. But I get a chance to talk to soldiers, and people say fans. I don't have fans. There are soldiers out there. There are friends out there, right? I don't have fans. I'm not a fan of that word, but I love this stuff, man. I genuinely love this stuff.
That's awesome, man. Well, hey, you got a new subscriber. Random Comics has just subscribed to Regie Collects. I didn't say this, but your link is down below in the channel. If anyone wants to find Reggie's channel, if you're not familiar with it, please go do so. I know you're going to enjoy it. And actually, right here, Derek, he said, Random, you will enjoy this channel. I love it.
I think when I was being interviewed by a guy the other day, the same guy, he was like, Reggie, I love you. He was like, I honestly love you. And I was like, ooh, this is going to be an interesting conversation, but there are people, man, when I do live streams, there are people that are literally in every live stream. You know what I'm saying? And there are people that are the core of what makes, I think, my channel fantastic, right? You come into the chat room when I'm doing a live chat, and it is like the coffee shop you were talking about. It is like Cheers.
Yeah.
People have become friends actual friends as a result of the channel. That's cool. You know, people are like talking offline, talking on the phone, talking in direct messages, sending AOKs amongst themselves. Hey, here's some money. Can you go buy this book? And it's all happening because of the channel being there. I never imagined any of this would happen back when I had 150 subscribers. You know,
I remember back then.
They were all fitness people, so they didn't care about any of this stuff, you know.
Hey, we have a $5 super chat that says down with the duck. Hey, Reggie, can you slap the duck in the corner?
What duck?
There's a duck above your head. You can't see the duck?
Oh, where is it?
There you go.
There we go. Smack the duck. I'll tap him.
No, come on. Just
I'll
slap the duck. There you go. Slap the duck, man. Hashtag slap the duck. Every time a super chat comes, hashtag slap the duck. I just made that up.
You're a nut. I'm not smacking any ducks anymore. Okay, I'm not
here, folks. Reggie slap the duck.
Oh man.
You know, we're gonna wrap it up. I got one last question before we get into something really fun. Okay. Yeah. Seriously, man, how do you manage everything you do? You're a father, a husband, full-time job, like a real job, like pays like good money and stuff, like not like my job. I mean, I just sit here, turn the camera on, and you have a successful YouTube channel, and you go on walks and you work out and you're still fit, you still look good naked. How do you put this all together, man? We're the same age.
Are we the same age?
Described of you, I'm the opposite.
Are we the same age? I didn't know that.
Huh?
I didn't know we were the same age.
How old are you?
43.
I'm 44.
I think I'm 43. I sometimes forget. I'm getting old. How do I do it? I don't know. I really don't. So I kind of sort of structure my day, and I structure it in such a way that I have some stuff to do all the time, you know, and including like downtime, you know. Perfect timing, my friend. There are structured times, right, where I have, like, if I'm sitting on the sofa and the kids are in the bed and it's like my wife's time, I am focused on my wife. When I am in the comic book room trying to do a video, I typically do this stuff at night after all the kids go to sleep, the same way that I used to do it when it was time for fitness, right? So I try to find slots for everything to go into, you know, and I just try to be as efficient as possible. With me, like, for example, when I turn on a camera and I record a video, a lot of times I can knock it out in one recording. I don't have to do multiple takes. I will record one video. It'll be whatever length of time, and it's fine. It is right there. I then spend more time editing it, you know? So the fact that I've gone on camera, not just for this, but for other things, have actually helped me. But I try to be very structured. I try to be very efficient with my time. And for me, having lots of things improves my performance. Having lots of things on my plate actually improves my performance for whatever reason. That's how I've always been. And, you know, thankfully everything's working. The kids are healthy. The job is coming along. The channel is continuing to grow. My wife is happy. And I'm working on my fitness, right? I mean, it's
awesome, man. Well, you're definitely doing a great job. I mean, obviously, you know, I met you through the channel and then have gotten to know you personal from that, you know, beyond the comic books and stuff. You're doing a great job. Great family. Great job on the channel. Still looking good, man. Congratulations.
Thank you, brother.
Couldn't be more proud of you, dude.
Well, I'll be more proud when I pass you up in terms of subscribers, but you know.
Yeah, what was that called? You had a you had a freaking hashtag. It was like hashtag take down Bueller or something like that.
Hashtag take down Bueller. Take out Bueller. No, man, it's you know,
I got some secret weapons, man. I got some secret weapons in my back.
I bet you do.
I've never used.
I bet
great ideas. There ain't no random run crap. It's this stuff. Who titles their video "Random Runs"?
No, the better one was digging in my shorts.
Yeah.
Digging in my shorts was, man, no, but the thing is, man, is that you know, there are people out there that look at like what happens with my channel and your channel and Comic Tom's as an example, because we all started around the same time and believe that we are in competition with one another. We're all very different. We all speak with a different voice. We all have a different kind of niche. And I think that that diversity is exactly what the comic book community needs. Different thoughts, different opinions, different approaches, different takes. That's what it's about. And I don't look at me as being in competition with you, other than friendly competition. That's how I look at it. And I saw that you exceeded 10,000 subs this week. And, I was not jealous. Envious maybe, but not jealous, but congratulations, man. This stuff does not happen by accident. This stuff happens with purposeful action on a consistent basis. And you have definitely been that. So congratulations on that. And this is going to be one of your best videos ever. I'm gonna just throw it out there right now.
And also, I just want to say on that note, hitting 10,000. I also had a video that I put out last week that's over 6,000 views already.
Crazy.
So thank you so much to everyone who's watched that video. That's a brand new series I started. Just getting started on that one, so that should do really well.
Shameless plug.
There you go, Reggie. We're gonna do rapid 10 questions.
Uh-oh.
I've been asking the guys all week 10 questions. I try to do them a little cater to you,
Okay.
A little bit, So these are you can't think about these for too long. You just got to tell me what comes in your mind, okay?
Okay.
All right, you ready?
Ready.
Magic Johnson or Michael Jordan?
Jordan.
Genesis or Super Nintendo?
Genesis.
Ooh, he's a Sonic guy.
Yeah, Sonic Hedgehog.
See, you're my age, so I can ask you Genesis or Super Nintendo. So the other guys, I had to go Xbox or PlayStation.
I'd be like, what? No, PlayStation was dope though. PlayStation was dope from Sony. I did like a PlayStation. I enjoyed that.
The Bushido Blade. There. Did you?
No, I didn't play that one.
Oh, it was really good.
I didn't play that one.
Mocha or latte?
Mocha.
Netflix or Hulu?
Netflix. Hulu's trash. I have it. I have all of them, and it's trash.
Yeah. Favorite Spider-Man villain?
Vulture.
Followed
by Scorpion.
Nice. Scorpion's one of my favorites. Ultimate Warrior or The Undertaker?
Who?
Ultimate Warrior.
Who? This is wrestling?
Come on, man.
Pass.
Don't give me that.
Pass. Andre the Giant?
I'll give you it. You can have that. Andre the Giant. Better decade of music, 80s or 90s?
90s. All day long.
You're right. Graded or raw copies?
Graded. Yep. I know you said raw to that one.
Yeah, exactly. Mary Jane or Gwen Stacy?
Ooh, Gwen all day long.
Really? So
Gwen all day long.
You go with the girlfriend, not the wife.
Brother, my wife is blonde. I don't know. If I said more, it'd be a different show.
There you go. Last one: superpower, invisibility or immortality?
Immortality.
Nice.
Live forever. I can be rich because I could live forever. It would be awesome.
That's awesome, man. Reggie, this has been a blast, man. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you. Go ahead and tell the people in the chat what you got going on in your channel.
We don't have anything going on right now. What do we have? I was not expecting this one. So, there is always a lot of cool stuff that is happening on my channel. I typically release videos Monday through Thursday, always at 3:30 p.m. Pacific time. I have a live show that I do every single week on Sunday night at 7:30 p.m. Pacific time, where I typically give away a really cool slab. And I do the slab because you watch the videos. It's my reward back to you. But I actually have a interview that I'm actually doing this weekend as part of Mainframe Comic-Con. I think it's 4:30 or something like that. If you go to mainframecomiccon.com, I'm actually doing an interview with CGC, and we are going to talk about the signature series in-house signings that they're doing. And there is also a special guest that will actually be on the show. So if you're interested in that, you may want to swing by and check that out. But the channel is Regie Collects. You can find me here on YouTube or on Instagram at Regie Collects.
So pretty much what we have to do, we have to figure out what private signing they're doing, and that's probably the guest.
Possibly, but they are also doing like 9 private signings. So you have a 1 in 9 chance of guessing it. If it is indeed that, it could be a yet to be announced signature series in-house thing. See how cryptic I was?
You brought up that mainframe Comic-Con. Give me a quick second. Go ahead and say something else.
I don't know what else you want me to say.
I don't know.
We are completely off script. Not that there was a script before, but we are completely off the script right now.
Hold on, dude. I gotta find something.
That Comic-Con, the mainframe Comic-Con is actually going down this weekend. I think we go on right after the celebrities. CGC and I actually go on right after the celebrities go on. And there's a rumor that one of my favorite YouTubers, Rob Jefferson, is actually potentially going to be on the show. So I'm actually looking forward to seeing what he has to talk about. But I believe that the mainframe Comic-Con is actually a fundraising initiative that they are doing to actually be able to donate some money to local comic shops. So it's like a worthwhile event that they are actually putting on. So definitely glad to be part of this one.
Absolutely. And also they have on Sunday at 7:30, they have Ron Mars is going to be there. And also Andy Smith is going to be there, hosted by none other than Comics with Bueller. So I'm part of the mainframe Comic-Con as well.
Shameless plug, this guy. I don't know.
I didn't know who they were. I had to look. I know who they were. I just forgot the name, so I had to look it up on my phone.
I was wondering what you were looking for. But yeah, they called me up, man. They asked me if I wanted to be part of this. And when I heard what they were attempting to do, it was an easy yes. It was an easy yes to do this one. So definitely glad to be contributing something back to the comic book community. Because at the end of the day, we are all in this. We are all in it together, you know?
Yeah. You know what they always say? It's not the where you want to be. You want to be the person that opens the show and closes the show. If you're in the middle, it doesn't really matter. And guess who's closing the show?
I don't understand what just happened. That's actually not even a saying. You just made that up. You completely made that up. Somebody's asking about GarageCon 2. I don't know yet. It is actually going to be at some point. There's a lot of calls for me and you and Bueller. I'm sorry, and Jim Mint and Comic Tom to get together and do some stuff at some point. So
yeah, I meant to show this yesterday and I ran out of time. But Keith asked this yesterday. He says, Reggie, you should do a live interview with Bueller, Jim Mint, Comic Tom 101, Reggie, Pop Culture, and a bunch of people. And they asked the same thing yesterday as well. All of us should get together and just, I don't know, talk about how good you look without your shirt on your profile picture that's on the only comic book channel on YouTube where your profile is shirtless.
brother, Comic Tom has the glasses and the hair, right? I don't have glasses or hair. I had to do something. Shirtless it is. I'm sorry. You know? You got the vest?
I mean, who's gonna watch this? Not nobody. Nobody. If I would have came out like this, they'd be like, next. I had to do something, man.
I'm telling you, have to be distinctive, brother. Who else wears a tank top doing, discussions, right? I mean, I think one of my first discussions with CGC, I was in a tank top. Like, hey, this is who I am. Get with it.
There you go. Well, Reggie, this was a blast. Thank you so much, my friend. Awesome night. Like I said, this is night 4 of interview week. We started off with Gem Mint. Then we went to Robbie from Pop Culture Philosophers. Comic Tom was last night. Tonight, none other than Regie Collects, Reggie Simmons, Reggie IFBB Pro, Reggie everything. There's so many nicknames for this guy. The Gibbon Gang, the Swole, all that stuff. It's all great. Tomorrow, Brian from Simple Man's Comics. He keeps it simple. One thing. Simple Man. That's it. Reggie, thank you, man. And I want to say thank you to everyone in the chat. This was a lot of fun. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You guys know what to do. We'll see you next time. Bye.